New at 6, not just the rain, but fire. Those flames from fallen power lines, just one of many outages hitting the Bay Area during today's storm.
Today's stormy weather taking down trees onto cars, houses, and more.
All of that rain, just overwhelming amounts.
I'm meteorologist Sandy Patel. It has been an active weather day today, and we're not done with this storm yet. I'll have the hour-by-hour timeline coming up.
Always live. ABC 7 News starts right now.
All day today, we are tracking the storm. Live Doppler 7 shows you where the worst is right now. Good evening. I'm Amade.
And I'm Dan Ashley. Thanks for joining us. It's been a wet and windy Wednesday, and it is not over yet. New at 6, take a look. Flames from fallen power lines. This is in Los Altos Hills. Santa Clara County firefighters were there to block off traffic, make sure no one got too close. More than 100 PG&E customers in that area lost power around 4 this afternoon, 2 hours ago. In Oakland, a large branch from a eucalyptus tree came down, taking power lines along with it. This happened on Miles Avenue near Presley Way in the Rockridge neighborhood. PG&E hopes to have the power restored to that area in an hour at about 7 o'clock. Now, this map shows you current PG&E power outages. Some of the largest outages have been resolved, but we are still talking thousands of people without electricity right now. All of those outages marked by icons on this map. You see them really all over the Bay Area.
Today's storm ranks level 2 on the exclusive ABC 7 News storm impact scale. That makes it a moderate storm with heavy rain and strong winds, which is why we have live team coverage to see what an impact this is having where you live.
Before we hear from ABC 7 News reporters Suzanne Fawn and Tim Johns, let's go to ABC 7 News meteorologist Sandy Patel. Sandy?
Yeah, Dan and Alma, let's take a look at Live Doppler 7 because we are still tracking some downpours across the region. As we get you back in time, notice the strong thunderstorms that rolled through parts of the Bay Area today. It is quieting down, but we still have some wet weather to talk about. Let's get you into the Santa Cruz Mountains, Los Gatos area, Highway 17, Cambrian Park, the summit, Highway 17. You could see some heavy rain still falling. And parts of the East Bay from Pleasanton across Concannon Boulevard, Tesla Road into the Livermore area, seeing some pockets of moderate rain. It is a level 2 on our storm impact scale, so we are still tracking some of this wet weather. It's going to continue at 7 o'clock tonight, going into 8 p.m. Still scattered showers for the late night hours, and then tomorrow morning switching over to some snow over Mount Hamilton. Scattered showers continuing across the rest of the region. The winds are starting to dial back at the lower elevations, gusts to 22 in Oakland, but it is still gusty over the higher elevations. Atlas Peak 50 miles an hour. A wind advisory remains in effect until 8 p.m. tonight. Those gusty winds could take down some more tree limbs and cause some outages. It is a level 2 through this evening. Rain heavy at times with those gusty winds and a chance of thunder. Right now, a live view. It is a slow going commute from San Jose 101. You can see the wet roadways, and it is a wintry view from the Sierra. I'll be back with a look at that winter storm warning and the full timeline coming right up. Dan?
That's a great image there behind you, Sandy. Thank you. In the East Bay, part of a redwood tree split in Alamo and ended up damaging at least 2 cars. This happened on Danville Boulevard, and at last check, all lanes were blocked as crews worked to clear up that mess. And they were on the roof in the rain trying to clear away this tree that came down on the house. This is on Roosevelt Avenue near Taft Street in Redwood City. Firefighters and PG&E crews responded. The tree came down at about 2 this afternoon. At least no one was hurt. We're glad to share that with you. And now ABC 7 News reporter Tim Johns is live in Redwood City with a look at conditions there. Tim?
Yeah, Dan. Now, the rain has been on and off here in the peninsula for most of the day, but I can tell you that wind was pretty strong since the early morning from the coastal areas here in San Mateo County all the way down to here near the bay. Rain falling throughout the peninsula Wednesday as the first in a series of storms makes its way into the Bay Area. Ahead of the wet weather, PG&E says they spent the last few days getting ready and pre-positioning crews.
So we are flexible as well. We make sure that we have crews that can move to other locations if needed. We have equipment stockpiled at all of our yards throughout our service area of Northern and Central California.
Spokesperson Tamar Sarkeesian says while the utility company's team of meteorologists track the rain in our area, it's actually the winds that can cause the most damage. Along the San Mateo County coast, the gusts were strong throughout most of the day.
When we see things like debris that flies through the air that can make contact with our lines, or even things like vegetation, branches, or even healthy trees that come down because of these very powerful winds, that's when we really start to see the outages.
In Menlo Park, those strong winds knocked down several trees onto 2 homes in a residential area. One tree lying across the roof of one of the houses. Next door, another tree hitting the garage and nearby cars. In Redwood City, a similar incident also occurring Wednesday afternoon. There, a large tree fell on top of a house on Roosevelt Avenue. ABC 7 News was there as crews worked to quickly remove it. Menlo Park Fire Captain Brett Bates says it's important for people to take extra precautions over the coming hours.
The standard recommendations of stay away from downed trees, down power lines. More things can come down and you never know what's still active out there.
Now, the National Weather Service has issued a high wind advisory for this area. That is expected to stay into effect until tomorrow morning. I'm live in Redwood City. Tim Johns, ABC 7 News.
Spouts were overwhelmed during a downpour in San Jose today. San Jose drivers had to detour around a large tree branch, which came down on Saratoga Avenue, blocking one lane near Henry Schmidt Park. That chainsaw helped clear a fallen tree that crushed that car. This was in Cupertino, and it happened around 2 o'clock. Gusty winds and heavy rain pounded the North Bay. ABC 7 News reporter Suzanne Fawn joins us live from San Rafael to explain how things looked across Sonoma and Marin counties today. Suzanne.
So, Alma, late today we felt the brunt of the storm. Now, the roads and the freeways around here were drenched by the downpour, and the strong wind, that was also a big concern. Once again, another powerful atmospheric river storm is pounding the Bay Area and drenching the North Bay. With every major storm comes the possibility of serious damage. In Petaluma, we caught up with public works crews. They had their hands full, clearing away part of a tree that snapped off and came crashing down on the road. No one was hurt. But there's certainly a lot of cleanup to do and more of it to come.
Oh yeah, as the winds pick up and the rain later on, it's going to get busy.
On the roads, a reminder to drivers to slow down. It's not just the rain today, but the wind you should be concerned about.
It is making it hard to kind of do anything today. It's another factor as you're driving on the roadway, especially at higher speeds. Wind can push you all over the place, and with the standing water that's on the roadway, we don't want anybody to hydroplane.
I just heard about the high winds and kind of was surprised by it, but now I'm starting to see all the branches swinging around a lot. So yeah, definitely like rattling the windows and stuff.
Atmospheric river storms that swept across the Bay Area this year have been cause for concern. You might remember the dramatic video from early February. A driver lost control on a rural road near Point Reyes and ended up in a creek in West Marin County. A sheriff's deputy broke the car's back window and began removing items to give the woman stuck inside the submerging car as much room to breathe as possible. The deputy was eventually able to pull the woman out of the car. Authorities say that should be an important reminder to all of us.
And the water kind of overtook that car in about 4 minutes, from being halfway up the back window to completely submerging the vehicle. And so we want to avoid those things. Water can rise extremely quickly, and we want to prevent anybody from ending up in water themselves.
And with these strong storms, power outages are always a big concern. According to PG&E, about 3,400 people were in the dark without power in the North Bay. That included a school in Sebastopol. We're live in San Rafael. Suzanne Fawn, ABC 7 News.
Okay, Suzanne, thank you. And you can get access to the same live Doppler 7 our weather team uses. It's available to stream on the ABC 7 Bay Area app. Just download it wherever you stream.